Yeah, so good morning. Last session, we discussed about how do we deal with styles. So we learned about how to handle the styles. Let's take one example here. Yeah. So we learned in how many ways styles can be added into HTML. So what are the various options? We have three techniques. We can write styles inline, embedded, and external file. So what is difference? Already we learned. What is the drawback of external file? The drawback of external file is it increases the number of requests for page. If number of requests increase, what will happen? Page load time will increase, right? So unnecessarily we cannot use external files. Next, one more option is yesterday we learned about what is minification. Minification is the process of compressing the CSS files. Compressing means, are you zipping the files? We are not zipping the files. Then without zip, how they are compressed? File is in normal state only, but the logic we write will be in a shorthand way, shortcut. So for minification, so many softwares will be available online. We can minify the code, copy that minified code, and create one minified file and link it to page. One more point I told you, developer is provided with both files, the uncompressed file and compressed file. When to use uncompressed file? Uncompressed file is used in development. And when to use compressed file? Compressed file is used in production. Development and production. Production means live. When project is going live and finally we are publishing the project, then we have to use the minified. While designing, we should not use minified. Why? Why we should not use minified files while designing? Because they cannot track errors correctly. They can track errors, but they cannot tell the exact location of errors because everything is compressed into one file, right? These are all important. One more we learned. What is media type and MIME type? How to target styles for printing, how to target styles for screen. Similarly, what is the MIME type for CSS? These all are important. Now, after understanding these points, these all yesterday we discussed, one important rule you have to learn. So another question is, if styles are defined inline, embedded, and external file, and in external file for any element, then which set of styles will apply? if we are writing styles, all three locations for same element. For same element, we are writing the styles inline, we are writing embedded, we are writing external file. Then which one will work? That means the answer is priority. Which one will work? The priority. First priority is given for inline. Second priority is given for embedded. And the third priority is given for external file. That means, remember, if same effects are written, then it will apply according to priority. If same effects are written, then it will apply according to priority. Priority means first, second, and third. First priority inline, second embedded. If different effects are written, then all will apply. If different effects are written, all will apply. That means, for example, suppose we have a heading. Now, what happened here? We have external style sheet. In that headings, I am just giving background color yellow. And let's go to background color yellow. I will apply this style sheet, right? Let's apply that style sheet, headings.css. Okay. Now I am writing here inline style embedded. Heading 2, I put background color as red. And now what happens? Will work,
Recording in
styles will work,
progress.
depends on how you configure. So it is going to handle all of them, right? So technically, so if same effects are written, then what will happen? It will apply according to priority. If different effects are written, so then it will apply according to the it will apply all effects it is going to apply. That is the rule. So this is how to write the styles. One more example, one more point is, while working with CSS, JavaScript, you have to know. So the frequently asked question, what is CDN? CDN. So another question asked is, what is CDN? because while working with JavaScript, CSS, these are common. Remember, I am detailedly explaining in CSS because the same concept comes in JavaScript also. There we should not waste time because JavaScript also written inline, it is also written embedded, it is also written external file. Then you should not be new for it. It is also using minification. So now in JavaScript, we can save the time in discussing all this because we learned already the same. Only difference how JavaScript is written, you have to learn that. So that is the reason I am giving detail here so that we can easily go fast forward in JavaScript. It will save a lot of time because same topic comes in JavaScript also. What is CDN is? Actually, CDN is CDN is content delivery network. Content delivery network. CDN is content delivery network. Why this we have to know while working with CSS? For example, what is advantage of external file we discussed? The advantage of external file is we can access from any page. We can access from any page where in the project. Suppose I have another project. If I want to access there also. That means, for example, you see Bootstrap. Bootstrap can be used in any project. If Bootstrap is used in any project, currently what we done, we downloaded Bootstrap and we are using it. Then what is problem is it is occupying some space in your project. Instead of downloading, you can use CDN. CDN means Bootstrap library is present in Bootstrap server. That means it is present in their servers. We don't download. Without downloading, we will directly access from their server. We will directly access from their server. What is advantage is you are saving the space of your project because you are not downloading it. You are directly accessing from their server and using it. So you can use in any project now. Without downloading, you can use in any project. But what is problem? So CDN is good. But what is problem? If that server is not responding, then styles will not work. And if a server have to respond from remote location, it will take obviously time. That means it will be slow when compared to all other techniques. Why? Because it have to come from other website. So CDN means we are accessing the library live from some other server and using in our project. That means in real-time projects, what happens if they are building several applications and in every application they need same set of styles, then they will keep in one server and from there they access it. That is called as CDN. You can see actually to use Bootstrap, what we done is we have to link Bootstrap directly, but means we have downloaded. But you can do one thing. You can see, open their website, getbootstrap.com. This is official website. We can go to the website. There we will have a download option. When I click download, it will say you can download. And it says that you can also use CDN. It says that you can also use CDN. That means skip. You can see they have given the option So they have given the option like, yeah, they have given the option like skip download. They have given the option like skip download. They say that skip download. So then how to do? They given links directly. What we have to do? We have to copy the link and paste in our page. This is nothing but this is accessing the CSS file directly from their website. Then what is problem? Every time you need internet connection. That means even while you are practicing without internet connection, you cannot use it because it have to come from their server, right? But if you want to access from various projects, this is the good way. In real world projects, we do like that. We use lot of CDNs also. Why? Because in real time project, what happens is, in real time project, we generally have a server called golden server or sandbox server. We usually have a server called golden server or sandbox server. In this server, it is actually repository server. Repository server means all the library is kept here. And what we do is we build application in a separate server called development server. In development server, we build application. That means all our projects, that means project A, project B, all our projects are built here. All our projects are built in this server. But library comes from which location? Library comes from the sandbox. We bring the library from sandbox and use here. That means we don't download it. We don't download it. We don't download it. Why? Because we need for every project. Then we don't download for every project. What we do, we will keep in the sandbox server only. From there, we can directly access and use. This mechanism is called as CDN. So what is CDN? Content Delivery Network. What does it means actually? Styles are kept in a repository server. Styles are kept in a repository server. We can access styles directly from server without download. So this is the concept of CDN. Actually, what happens syntactically, the link will be like this. Link relation is equal to style sheet. Href is equal to, it will have some HTTP / some www their server.com / in that they have styles, in that CSS. So that means some name.css, like this it will be. That means we are accessing from a remote server. Some website name, some path name, everything will be there. We have to access from that location. So while working with JavaScript, while working with CSS, while working with images also, sometimes we need pictures and we don't download and keep the pictures. We directly access pictures by using URL. So you can do that, right? Later you will see such CDNs, how to work with them. But while working with CSS and JavaScript, we should know what is minification and you should know what is CDN, right? These two are important. So these are all about how CSS can be used in HTML, right? Next important, after knowing this, we should know about CSS selectors. This is a very big concept. We have to know about CSS selectors. Actually, before going into the selectors, first I will tell you one point. That means you have to know how to write the styles. Writing styles in HTML. Writing styles in HTML. How do we write styles in HTML? Actually, when you are writing styles inline, then we have to write like this. Heading 2, we will put a style attribute, and here we will write an attribute : value. If I want one more attribute, semicolon, another attribute : value. That means multiple attributes are separated with semicolon. That means attribute, colon, and value. Attribute means CSS attribute. Color, background color, what value you want and define. Now what is point here is, it will apply to which element? These attributes will apply to which element? These attributes will apply to heading element. That means to which element you return, they will apply to that. That means in which element you return, they will apply there. So there is no confusion. That means these attributes are going to work for which element? Heading. Because you return in heading. So no confusion here. Confusion is when you are writing embedded and when you are writing external file. Generally, we write a block. In the block, we write attribute, : value, semicolon, another attribute, : value. Now the confusion here is to which element these will apply. That means you return attributes like this. To which element these will apply? Inline, no confusion. Because inline we return style, it will work for heading. But when you write embedded or when you write external, then confusion. To which element these to be applied? That is decided by selector. So selector decides where to apply the effects. Selector defines where to apply the effects. So is selector mandatory? We don't need a selector when you are writing inline. Right? We don't need a selector when you are writing inline. Why you need a selector when you are writing inline? You don't need a selector. So if anybody says that selector is mandatory, that is wrong. Because selector is mandatory when you are writing embedded or external. When you are writing inline, why you need selector? We don't need selector. Because it will apply to the current element. Many times you will see people telling you that in YouTube channels and all, in CSS selectors are compulsory. They are not compulsory. Right? Selectors are required only when you are writing embedded or when you are writing external. Right? Otherwise, why do I need selector? I don't need any selectors. So, but everything we cannot write inline. That is the reason selectors becomes a very important concept. So here we have to learn what are these CSS selectors. So how do we write the CSS selectors? What is difference between them? We will see. Actually, what is a selector? First thing, so a selector defines, a selector defines where to apply. A selector defines where to apply the set of styles. A selector defines where to apply the set of styles. So we have some set of styles, where to apply them, that is decided by selector. And CSS selectors, CSS selectors are classified into various types, are classified into various groups. CSS selectors are classified into various groups depending on behavior. So many are there. First we will see primary selectors. We have so many. We have primary selectors, we have rational selectors, we have structural selectors, we have pseudo classes. All so many are there. I will give a list one by one. Selectors in CSS are classified into so many types. First we will see primary selectors. First we will see what are the primary selectors, how to handle the primary selectors. Primary selectors, so we have type selector, we have ID selector, we have class selector. These comes under primary selectors. Type selector, ID selector, class selector. These three comes under primary selector. What is type selector? Type selector is nothing but it defines the tag name. It defines the tag name where you want the styles to apply. It defines the tag name where you want the styles to apply. That means directly we write like this. That means type selector defines the tag name directly. So suppose I want to apply to heading, I will write heading, and I can write effects. If I want to apply for table, I write table and I define the effects like this. If I want for paragraph, then I will write P and I will write the effects like this. That means these are called type selectors. If I want for div, I want for span. This is called type selector. Type selector means we are defining directly tag name. What is good, what is bad? The good is it will apply everywhere where that particular element comes, where that particular tag comes, everywhere where the tag comes. For example, see now, suppose I am having headings like this. Okay, let's write here style. We are having headings. We are having all these headings are there. Now I will write here style. I am using a set of attributes like suppose color red. I am using background color yellow like this. And I am writing text align center like this. I am writing. Now the question, where to apply them, to which element you want to apply them. We can write here selector. This is selector. How to write the selector? We can write type selector. Type selector means directly I can give the tag name. Then what happens? Wherever that heading comes, it will apply that effect. So here I am keeping a heading above web technologies. Web technologies. But I don't want styles to apply for this one. I don't want styles to apply to this one. But type selector will apply to that one also. That means type selector is good when you want the effects to apply everywhere where that element comes. But problem with type selector, you cannot ignore for any specific element. That means one element I don't want, then you cannot ignore. That means everywhere where heading comes, it will apply. If I don't want at any specific location, there is no chance of ignoring. That means you cannot. So what is problem here? Is the problem is you cannot ignore effects for any specific element, any specific occurrence of element in page. There is no chance. That means there are 100 headings. For 100 headings, it will apply same. For 2 headings, I don't want. No chance. It will apply everywhere. So what is the type selector and when to use it? We have to use the type selector when we want the effects to apply everywhere where that element comes. No, I want choice. I will decide where to apply. Then better not to use type selector. So example I will give here. This is example. I will copy this example. This is type selector. Now what is solution? Is better use ID selector. Use ID selector. What is advantage of ID selector? ID selector means here the first point. Every element can get effects by using ID reference. Every element can get effects by using ID reference. ID is defined by using hash. ID is defined by using hash. That means how do we write hash? Any ID and we will write some effects. Whatever effects we want, we will write like this. Now, ID is accessed and applied. ID is accessed and applied to element by using ID attribute. So I want for heading, then I will use ID, whatever the ID name. I want for paragraph, then I will put the ID, whatever the ID name. What is advantage of this is you can choose to which element you want. That means you can just select to which element you want to apply. So that is good about ID selector. For example, see now, I don't want this effect everywhere. If I don't want the effect everywhere, so don't use a type selector. Use an ID selector. ID selectors are written with hash and any name. Suppose I will give heading. That is the name. Now, this need to be applied only for HTML. Then we can go there HTML and put an ID is equal to, so what is it? Heading. It will apply there. I want to apply for JavaScript. Again, I can go to JavaScript ID and here I can define heading. For JavaScript also it will work. So what is advantage? You can apply to which element you want. Not only headings, You can apply to a paragraph or a div or a span anywhere. Anywhere, suppose I have a table. In the table, I have some border. Okay. And in the table, we have some row. And in that, we have some cell. In that, we have some product name. Suppose there is a table like this. And what I can do is, for this cell, I can put an ID as heading. Then for this cell, it will apply it. You can apply anywhere you want. So it is not only for heading. You keep some effects under one ID. You can access and apply wherever you want. You can apply for heading, paragraph, block code, data definition, data terms, tables, anywhere you want, you can apply. So what is good about ID selector? It allows you to apply at any location. So that is good about ID selector. Okay, this is example. That is good about ID selector. But what is problem is, the problem is every element can have only one ID. Every element can have only one ID. So what is problem with that? So if every element can have only one ID, multiple effects we cannot apply to element. Generally in CSS, what we do is, when we are designing styles, we write the styles in multiple categories. We write the styles in multiple categories. Means clean classification. For example, see, here I am writing the effects. Let's remove this IDs. Let's remove them. Okay. Now see here, I am writing the effects. When you are writing styles, we always write the styles in a good classified way. Clean classification. Like for example, hash back style. Back style, that is an ID. When you are giving the names, don't use any spaces. So use a single word, or if it is very lengthy and you want separation, use hyphens. That's it. Don't use any dots, don't use any underscores, don't use any other characters. Either one word or separated with hyphen. Only these two things you have to do. Now in back style, we will put background color yellow. Okay. That means to which element background is necessary, I can apply this ID. And to which element text style, I will give text style. In that, I will put color as red and text align as center. These are text styles. That means we are cleanly separating background style separate, text style separate. That's good. That is how we write styles actually. Suppose I am writing one more ID, border style. Border style, I will keep border as 2 pixel, as solid. Suppose some blue border like this we are giving. So whenever we write styles, we cleanly separate them. That's very good. What is advantage is, for example, for one element I want only border, then I can apply that border. I want only background, then I can apply background. If I write everything at one place in one block, all will apply every time. So separately writing, that's good. Then what is problem here? Problem is, how many IDs we have? 3. I want to apply these 3 styles to a heading. Not possible. Not possible. For example, I am giving ID. ID can take only one value. ID can take only one value. And every element can have only one ID. So here the point is every element can have only one ID, and every element can take only one value. It can have only one ID and it can have only one value. In that case, see what happens now. I am using ID, I will say back style, and you can see the background is applied. I want to apply text style also. That means I am using another ID text style. It will not work. You cannot have multiple IDs. So you cannot have multiple values. That means back style, comma, text style. In one ID only I am writing both of them, separating with comma. That means back style, text style, not working. I am using comma, I am using space, it's not working. I am using semicolon, it's not working. There is no chance. ID will take only one value. So what is bad about ID? The bad about ID is it can take only one. If the effects are written in several groups, you cannot apply them. Only one you can apply. That is the problem with the ID selector. That means here the point is, if effects are written, in multiple categories, you cannot apply to single element. You cannot apply to single element. You cannot apply to single element. So the problem with ID selector is that it allows only one ID for one element, and it allows only one value. Then how to apply multiple? Now for that we have class selector. So class selector is defined by using dot reference. Class selector is defined by using dot reference, and you can access and apply to any element, by using class attribute. That means syntactically we write like this: dot class name, what effects you want, and to which element you want to apply. We have to use class and class name. You have to define to any element. So you have to just use the class and class name. What is good for this? The good about is every element can have only one class. That is same. Every element can have only one class, but so every class attribute can refer to multiple values. That means every element can have only one class, only one ID. But ID can take only one value, but class can take multiple values. Can refer to multiple values separated with space. That means we write like this. We put a paragraph. So class is equal to class 1 space class 2 space class 3. Like that we can apply the classes. What is advantage of this? Advantage is to one element you can apply multiple effects. So what is difference between ID selector and class selector? ID selector can take only one value. Class selector can take multiple values. So here I will change this now. I will change this here. It is not possible to apply all the effects because of ID. I will change this ID to classes just by using dot. Instead of hash, we have to use dot. And I want to apply to heading, then we can apply class. So there is no order for applying classes. You can write it any way. For example, I am using border style, and you can see border style is applied. And I will apply space text style, and you can see text style is applied. I want to apply background style. I will put back style, and background style also applied. That means all categories of effects we can apply for one element. That is possible by using class selector. So what is the advantage of class selector? It can apply multiple, right? So that is the difference between ID, type, and class. This is example for that. If anyone asks which one is best, there is nothing like. So never ask this question in computer technologies. Never ask this question in computer technologies, which one is best. Why? Because if one is best, why they have given others? Only the best one must be given, na? And others must be removed, right? That means nobody wants that he tries to use something which is not good. Everybody wants the option which is best, right? Which is best, that we will decide according to situation. Why? Because suppose I want the effects for every element wherever it comes in page, then writing class, applying class, time waste. So then which one is better? Type selector. And I want so only one set of effects to apply, then which one is better? ID. If I want multiple, then better go with class. There is nothing like this is best. We decide according to the situation, either ID selector or type selector or class. These are primary selectors. So in the primary selectors, we are having these options: the ID and the class and the type. Type selector refers to tag name. ID selector is defined with hash and it is accessed by using ID. Class selector is defined with dot and it is accessed by using class. This comes under the category of primary selectors. These are all examples. Here now question. The question is if we define effects by using ID, class, and type. ID, class, and type. So then which set of styles are applied? If we define effects by using ID, by using class, by using type, that means 3 we are applying to same element, then which one will apply? The first priority is given for ID. The first priority is given for IDs. Second priority is given for class. Third priority is given for type. And same thing, if you are writing same effect, then it will apply ID. After that class, after that type. If you are writing different, all will apply. That concept is same. That means ID selector, one effect, class selector, another effect, and type selector, another effect. All three will work. But if you are writing same, then this is the priority. First ID, second class, third type. For example, see now. Suppose here we have heading, and in this heading, I am writing like this. So I will just put here only one heading I will give, right? So we have a heading web technologies. Now I am writing heading 2, color is red, and I will put a class heading, and color is green, and I will use hash head, and the color is blue. And see, I am applying here ID is equal to head, class is equal to heading. It doesn't matter where you write, which one first you written, which one later you have written. Always it matters according to priority. That means what is the color of heading now? What is the color of heading? The color of heading is blue. Why? Because ID have the priority. So I written ID first, class later, it doesn't matter. Wherever you write, it will apply blue. I removed here, and I am writing here. It doesn't matter. Wherever you write, it is blue only. So first priority is given for ID. If ID is not defined, that means we have only type and class. Then the next priority will be given for class. Class is green. Last priority is given for type. So if I am applying all the effects, I am applying all the selectors, it will use the same. This is one point. Okay, this is one example. This is example. If they have different, like heading 2 color is red, and heading color is green, but background color is yellow. Here also color is blue, but here border is 2 pixel, some solid, and suppose black. Like this I define. Now very important, which color it will apply? Color is blue, because same we are writing, then ID will apply. Different we are writing, that means you see color is blue, but background will come, border also will come. Background and border also will come. That means it is going to apply all the effects. That means if you are writing different, it will apply different. If you are writing same, then it will put according to priority. So here, so if same effects are written, then it will apply according to priority. According to priority. If same effects are written, then it will apply according to priority. That is what this example is. This is the example. And here, if different effects are written, then it will apply all. it will apply all. This is the example. Here it is applying all. In this example, it is going to apply background, it is going to apply border, it is going to apply. Now sometimes, so a tricky question comes, like if id is used inline, id is used embedded and external file, which one will work? If id, same id is written in embedded and in an external file, which id will work? The priority is given to which one? Embedded. Embedded will work because now it priority takes on another role. Whether it is inline or embedded or external file, it will take another role. Based on that, it will apply that. So this is how you can configure the selectors, primary selectors. Another point is, another important point is, note actually, another note is you can group the selectors. You can group the selectors. You can group the selectors. That means what is meant by group of selectors? That means you can write, you can group the selectors. So you can write like this, heading 2, comma P. What does that means? It will apply same effects for heading and paragraph. You can write like this also. We can write heading 2, comma hash some head like this. That means wherever heading 2 comes, it will apply. Wherever heading is used, id is used, it will apply. You can group all the three also. That means we can write heading, we can write head, we can write dot style something. And you can see all the three are applied here. All the three are applied. That means wherever you use heading 2, it will apply. Or wherever you use heading head id, it will apply. Wherever you use style class, it will apply. That means we can group the selectors. You can group the selectors by using comma. Selectors are grouped by using comma. That means, what does that means? Not only heading 2, sometimes in heading 1, this id is used, it will apply. Some in paragraph, this style is used, it will apply. The same set of effects are applied. This is called grouping of select. How to group the selectors? For that, we have the option comma, right? Comma is used for grouping the selectors. That is common actually. Suppose you see here, I am removing this here, define. This is heading and a paragraph. So welcome to web development, like this, we are writing something. That means some information is present. Now I am writing for heading 2 some effects, color as red. Now it will apply red color for heading 2. I want for paragraph also, comma P, and you can see it will apply for paragraph. So we don't need to write the effects. We have to configure in this way. Okay, that is generally heading, how we can configure group of option. Group is not only type, you can use id. For example, I am just using hash head also. So for example, we have heading 1. So I will put here in heading 1 as a project. So course details. I am writing like this, course details. Here also I want to apply. Then in that I can use id. Id is what? Head. There also it will apply the same. That means you can group and you can define. You can configure. So Advantage is you don't need to write several times. This is example. You can write at one place and we can handle all the groups and all the configurations, right? So already I told you, no excitement in questions. Just listen to me until the end of the concept. You will get answer for everything. Okay. No excitement. That means many people are overexcited and again ask questions unnecessarily. Don't do that until the topic is finished. Right? Once the topic is finished, now come with questions. Then by the time we finish the topic, you will not have any questions. Understood? I am giving already all the questions. Right? So keep your excitement with you, online people also, right? Because this is a very big concept. Lot of hierarchy will be there. Lot of consequences will be there. You will learn everything in the world. Only the point, keep patience. Let me finish the topic. Without finishing the topic, in between, don't come with questions until the topic is finished. After that, I will take questions if you have any questions. But you will not have any more questions once you finish this topic. Okay. This is still beginning of selectors. This is still beginning of selectors. We have to learn about selectors 3-4 days. That is the biggest concept in CSS. That so much is there about selectors. So don't get into questions immediately, right? Yeah. So up to this understood? ID selector, class selector, type selector. What is difference between them? How to write them? How to use them? And the rules. What are the rules? Which one will the priority? Can you write multiple classes to one element? You cannot write multiple classes, but you can apply multiple values. Understood? That means class is only one. ID is only one. But ID can take only one value. Class can take multiple values. Right? A class can take multiple values. That is the point we discussed. Right? Now, up to this, everything is fine. Right? These are all what kind of selectors? Primary. These are primary selectors. Okay. You understood the rules basically about primary selectors. Next important category, the second one is we have rational selectors, or we rational selectors and combinators. Rational selectors and combinators. We have another important rational selectors and combinators. Rational selectors and combinators. What are rational selectors and combinators? Actually, rational selectors define effects based on parent and child hierarchy. Rational selectors define effects based on parent and child hierarchy. And combinators define effects based on siblings. Siblings means concept of sibling is different, child is different. Sibling means before and after. That sibling means your brother, sister. That means what is relation? Your brother, sister are not your child. Right? They are not your children. They are before you or they are after you. These are siblings. We call them as combinators. Parent child. That means the under them. right? That is. So here we will see what are these options, how to handle them, what are rational selectors and what are combinators. Actually, for example, suppose to understand these options, here I am defining. So we have here, for example, I'm having why we need this, right? Combination, I will tell you here. Suppose we have a div, and in that we have para 1 and we have para 2 and we have para 3 like this. These are the paragraph in the div, and we have para 4 and we have para 5. Now, very important, if I apply here, so for paragraph, I will apply color as red. It will apply everywhere. But I want to apply only to the paragraphs which are the child of div. Which are the child of div. Child of div means they are inside div. I don't want to apply to other paragraphs outside div, only inside div. In that case, we have to use the selector like this. We have to use the child selector. Child selector, we write like this. That means we write a parent and space child, and we write the effects. Child selector is written like this. Child selector is written like this. Child selector is written like this. Child selector is defined in this way. That means we have a parent and we have child. Child selector means, so it will apply effects to all child elements, at any level. All child elements at any level. All child elements at any level. For example, here I am defining like this. You see here, this is applying for all paragraphs. I will just put here div and p, not comma. Div space p. Comma means it will apply to div and paragraph. This indicates only for the paragraphs which are present inside div. That means for which paragraph it will apply the color? 1, 2, and 3. For others, it is not applying because it indicates only for this. This is called child selector. Child selector means it will apply effects to all child elements at any level. What does any level means? Any level means, for example, inside this div, I have inside this div, I am having another container called DD, data definition. Or you can have a span or data definition or a table, anything can be there. Now here we are having a paragraph called para 4. And suppose here I am having para 5 and para 6. Now very important, what is meant by space? Space indicates apply at any level. That means inside the div, para 4 is not present directly in div. It is present in another container in div. But it is going to apply. There also. In that case, what we do is we use another option here. We have descendant selector. Descendant selector means, see, Descendant selector is written like this, div and greater than p, like this. This is called descendant selector. Descendant selector means it applies to the paragraphs only if they are direct child. Only if they are direct childs of div. Direct child of div means para 4 is not direct child of div. It is child of data definition. It is not direct child. So you can see that it is not applying to para 4. Because para 4 is not direct child. Only direct child are which one? Para 1, para 2 and para 3. These are direct childs. Para 4 is not direct child. So if you want to apply at any level, any child, then you have to use space. Then you have to use space. At any level, then you have to use space. Only direct child, then you have to use greater. This indicates only direct child. It will not apply to others. It will not apply to others. So these are descendant. That means what is descendant selector? Descendant selector, it will apply effects to only direct child. Direct child elements. Direct child elements. It will apply effects to only direct child elements. Direct child elements. So how to write that? Syntax. Here the syntax is parent space child. Here the syntax is parent greater than child. Like this we can define. So that is parent and child. So it will apply only for the direct childs. So we have two selectors, child selector and a descendant. So what is difference between space and what is greater than, right? What is the difference between? Example I will paste here. This is the example. This is the example. The same example you can try with space, right? So that is one option. That means how to apply child selector and descendant selector. Next important, we have an option called sibling. We have like general sibling, and we have adjacent sibling. General sibling and adjacent siblings. We have general and adjacent sibling. What does that mean? See, let's take this in another way. Now here I am writing heading. This is heading. Under this heading we have para 1, now para 2 and para 3. Like this we are having. So some para 4. So under the heading we have 4 paragraphs. Now I am writing like this. I am writing heading 2 and space P, and I will put color as red. To which paragraph it will apply? To which paragraph it is going to apply red color? It will not apply anywhere. It will not apply to anyone. Why? Because is that paragraph child of heading? Is that paragraph child of heading? No, it is not child of heading. Paragraphs are below heading. They are after heading. They are not inside heading. They are not child selectors. They are not child. Previously they were child. This is not child. After paragraph, after headings. If I say so, this is not going to work anywhere. It is not going to work anywhere. So siblings means actually we have general sibling and we have adjacent sibling. General sibling, general sibling, it defines effects. It defines effects to all to all siblings, to all siblings. It defines effects to all siblings. That means the elements to the all elements, to the all elements, to the all elements after specific parent. Understood? So after specific parent. To all the elements after specific element, actually, after specific element. You should not say parent here, right? That means general sibling is written like this. You see here, I am writing heading tilde paragraph. Tilde paragraph. This tilde indicates all siblings that comes after heading. All siblings that comes after heading. That means it will apply to all paragraphs that comes after heading. So this is called general sibling. That means here we have to write. So here we have to write element, tilde, and we have to define sibling. This indicates all siblings. So adjacent sibling, so it defines effects only to adjacent sibling. It defines effect only to adjacent sibling. That means element immediately after the specific. Element immediately after the specific. We already know it. We have to write element plus sibling. Already we used it. In checked concept, I told you plus how to use it. That is adjacent. That means if I am using tilde, it will apply to all siblings. If I use here plus, it indicates only to the first paragraph. Now, already I told you, keep your doubts with you only. Now people will come, sir, how to apply to random, how to apply to fourth one, how to apply to seventh one, how to apply to ninth one. You will learn, no hurry. Current, we are discussing about siblings. So we have two important siblings. What are those? Adjacent sibling, general sibling. Adjacent sibling, it will apply to all that comes after. And adjacent sibling to apply to only one that comes after. So this is not child. This is only for sibling. Only for sibling. For example, suppose I will copy this example. Here we have to use plus or tilde symbol. For example, suppose we have ordered list item. So it is item 1 and this is item 2. We have unordered list item 3 and item 4. Now I am writing here list item color red, then it will apply everywhere. Ordered list also it will apply, unordered list also it will apply because it is everywhere. Now I want to apply only in unordered list. Then we can just put here ULLI. Space indicates to all list items at any level. At any level you can apply. That means it will apply to unordered. For example, in that unordered list, suppose there is a span. In that we have a list item, and here we defined item 5, and you see it is applying there also. I want to apply only to direct, then we have to put a greater than. then it will apply only to direct, not to this. We need such situations because you remembered I told you in list item, if I want an icon or a symbol, we put a span. In that we put icon. After that we put some other words. So many combinations we use. In that case, we can apply to all, we can apply to specific. This is parent and child. This is parent and child. In parent and child, two selectors are there. What are those? In parent and child, we have two selectors. Yeah. So in parent and child, these are the two selectors, rational selectors. Rational selectors means parent and child. Here we have two options. One is space, another one greater than. Combinators also two. What are the combinators? Adjacent sibling and general sibling. General sibling means it will apply everywhere. Adjacent sibling means immediately after, which comes there. That's the rational selectors. We call them as rational selectors and combinators. So like this, so many others are there. We will see in the next session. Today, this is enough. I already told you, selectors will take 2-3 days. You have to learn so many selectors. At the end of the selectors, I will take your questions. If you have any doubts after listening to all the topics, okay? So selectors, we have learned two selectors today. One is primary selectors, another one rational. Primary selectors, what are those? ID selector, type selector, class selector. And rational selectors, siblings and child. Child, we have direct child, all child. We have general sibling and adjacent. These are the options. Tomorrow we will see other options. Okay, right. These all examples I will upload into Classroom. I will upload one document. In that everything will be there, right? You refer to the document. Okay, right.